Okay. So, and so the first thing I wanted to do is actually ask who is here, um, because we also have a new member, James. I don't know if James is here, but he will be there in next meeting, I hope. But I also invited a number of people. So one person I'd like to say hi to is for you to see is Robert. He has been running this UFO club in Stavanger for how many years, Robert? Hi. Oh, we can't hear you. You have to unmute yourself.
Since 1967, we start. The 4th April 1967.
I think that's the oldest UFO club in Norway, if I'm
Yeah,
correct.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah. So, um, and then I'm happy to see many people. Chris Hansen, nice to see you again. How is it in Baltimore? Looks like you have snow.
It looks that way, but we don't. No. It's cold,
It's
but no, no snow.
no snow. Okay, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So you were at the conference, and Eamon was even talking at the conference, and Stein Erik was at the conference, and Ron was at the conference, Rainer, Håkon Fyn. Uh, Johnny, maybe you could say who are you if you unmute yourself. Let me see. No, Johnny is very muted. Can't hear you. Okay. Um, Before we continue, are there anyone else that would like to say hi to the group? Uh, Everybody knows Ellie. Yeah. Okay. Um, so as I said, for me it was like I really wanted to get to see the people from the conference again. So that's why I invited so many this time. Um, as I said, this is just basically a status meeting. So normally I'll go through and say how many are we now, and on Discord we have more than 1,000. On Kofi we have too few. We only have like 35, and the number of team members is going to be less. Currently we are like 34 volunteers, but I'm going to remove some because 5 have never logged in, and 5 has not even logged in once this year. So it's going to be 24 soon. And then I just want to kind of go through a little bit. We are going to have some discussions, but um, we actually went up to Hessdalen, and yeah, Håkon and Erling and Stein Erik Johansen. You were there too, were you not, in Hessdalen the 4th of December? Um,
Definitely, yes.
Definitely yes. So because we had a major American TV channel that is very secret, but anyway, they're gonna make 2 episodes, but it will take like a year before it will be on the TV screen. So, but it gave me some inspiration to update the website. So I want to have, you can see this link here, I want to have the observations. My goal is, let me see if I go back to my site, and I made it as a link here. Erling has added observations done by people, and now he's been updating that. So I have compiled this into a long document. You can read it all. On the good old site, it's like page by page. And we have a lot of documentaries, and I would like to make some of these very amazing stories. So during this visit that we had from the TV channel, we had people like Jan Arvid Asbås was telling his story, and I'd like to make it so that you go to the site and you can find his story and his picture and maybe even a video of when he's telling his story like he did then. So there are many of these stories that are just amazing. On the field trip, we had our two YouTubers, Chris Leto and Carl Crusher, and they published videos just days after the conference. And then French TV2 said that they're going to publish now, hopefully before the end of the year. And then we have Arte TV and the Laxar gang. I think they're from Switzerland. They said they hope to be ready in February, so soon enough. And I'm saying this because, after all, I think we have too few paying members, so I need some publicity, and that's it. So I showed you the observations page that I want to work more on, and I just got this message from Erling today. You can click on 1982, the good old site, Old Hessdalen, and see that he has been updating 1982, and there's a lot of observations from his notes, and he's telling me that there's still many to add for 83, 84, 85, 86, and so on. So what is there now will be extended with a lot of more observations. I will take these years and put it back into this main page. And the reason for that is because then it's easier to search, and you can also, like I've done, I put this into a AI system so I can discuss with the page. I also have a folder, and recently I got some interesting pictures from Annbjørg. I can just demonstrate for you. You go to this folder and here. So she is, these two first pictures, well, first of all, the story behind it, translated to English. So she's basically sees this light and follow the light for half an hour. Kind of interesting. She's giving some zoomed in from her mobile phone, but then this is basically when she's following it, and she is see this picture like this, and she also has a video. Next one, I guess. So I think there are two videos zooming in like that. So she was following this, and it was on the following the mountain, following the river, where the tunnel is out north of Hessdalen, and then it moved up to Hessdalen. So she was following it up to Hessdalen. Kind of interesting. So just so you know, I'm trying to put some of the observations I get, if I have pictures, into this Google document, because in Google document we have a public drive with quite a lot of information, and for those who went to the conference, we also have the field trip weekend with all the presentations. Thank you, Iman. This is where it is. Okay. Yeah, so now you can soon unmute yourself and we can have a little discussion, because what about, like, it's an interesting thing that is happening right now about all these drones. Is it drones? Is it UFOs? Or what is it over the US? Or is it not just the US? And why do we care? I think because whatever happens over there matters here. So as an example, I was just talking to somebody, and then, have you heard about? And yes, they had, because they have even heard about it in the Norwegian newspaper. So that's why I have this Norwegian VG. And yes, Miles, I do. Others should do what Miles is doing. click on the hand, so I will let you talk soon, very soon.
Sorry, I just had a quick question about what you were just talking about a minute ago, because
Yeah.
I didn't quite catch the beginning, so I might have missed it.
Okay.
You said that there was this person was sort of following this light that was following the river. Is that the same sighting of an object or light following the river that we were talking about last month, where there was some investigation into that, or is this a different observation?
I think this is a different one because
Okay.
this was new for me.
Okay,
Perfect.
Thank
I
you.
just got it a week ago or so, 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. But if you have access to the, I can send it in this public drive, and the observations I think are just actually this one, and I'll just send this one, and I'll send it in the chat. So now you can see if you can access it. It's on the chat.
Yeah, I've got into that. Thank you.
Okay. So yeah, no. So why do we care about the drones over the U.S.? As I said, even the Norwegian newspaper is talking about it, and I just gave some links. It's just like you if you search for mystery drones on Google, you get into a Google bubble and you will drown in videos. So it's kind of amazing how much. Some of these are more like speculative, interesting. Some of these are just saying that no, there's nothing here. It's not us, and you may interrupt me if you want to, but I think it's kind of funny when they say we don't know what it is, but it's not ours. It's not the military. It's not other countries, but it's not dangerous.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, and now the sound works. Thanks. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it's strange that they are talking in that way about it. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
It's very
dangerous,
strange.
but they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Eric is also raising his hand.
Yeah, we had. I was participating in a chat group, and I had tried, a few hours to just see what sort of information I got and compare it to the government's statements. It's very interesting to see that I have been following some air traffic or controller communications.
Mm-hmm.
And they told us that they have seen some objects, the pilots, when they were at 30,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And they could say, follow on their radars, could follow it up to 50,000 feet. So this is something we have noticed before. This is not new.
Yeah.
And they were coming from the ocean and going back to the ocean. I don't know if that's the same, same object which is at the ground level, but that's an interesting part which I haven't heard so much about, and the government is not telling about it. And I heard that there's some citizen scientists called the Nightcrawler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's some interviews made by Ross Coulter, I think. And they are telling that they have no thermal signatures, and they are very dark. It's very difficult, even with night cameras, to observe them. Yeah, and they seem to actually have some strong light on them to actually get some reflections. And that's also something which we have heard before. And the pilots also describe extreme speeds. That's also something we know. And also there were some interview with a witness who saw one of the drones was big as a school bus.
Mhm.
And he saw it. He estimated the distance to be from his viewpoint about 10 meters.
Mm.
And then I see, and then they have the local police. They are very, very frustrated because they don't get any information from the government. But the government say that they have given them information, so it's a total mess. And also, I think that I think the government is downplaying it, and also the Nightcrawler people, the citizens scientists, they got they were contacted by some agency, FBI or CIA, and they wanted them to help them to investigate. So that's the information I got so far.
No hands. Okay. I tried to kind of list up some reasons why. Okay, Andrea Pucci, hi. I tried to list up some reasons why I think it may have started and how it became a hype. So first of all, I think maybe there was an actual increase in drone sightings. So and then media can talk about it. I mean, if it's UFOs, media didn't talk much about it. But if you can use the word drone, then you can talk about it. So maybe that's one of the reasons why it started to be hype about it. And I was writing something here, but then we started talking without. Like, is it spy drones? Is it just people playing around or whatever? It could also be that there is an actual increase in UAP sightings, and then the alternative media is pushing that more. But now I'm thinking like if this was like planned by the military as a psyop, then it doesn't really make sense to me because they've just been saying, no, no, it's not us. No, no, it's not us. We have nothing to do with this. Why are they saying that? Because normally you would expect that if it was a psyop, then they would play on your fear and they would want something out of it. So to me it doesn't. Now some is saying that they want to have new laws and stuff like that, but that has kind of come now after a month, more from people pushing it and not from the military pushing it. So that's my comment. Andrea.
Yeah, hello. Well, for sure, this last thing that you said, the outcomes from all of this, we could eventually trace back uh, who was behind the the hype, at least, if there was an inflation of it, because the outcomes will always prove to uh, like be advantages for whoever wanted them from the beginning, right? So. But apart from that, I wanted to raise the question if anyone else has had the same. Do you think that there is only one kind of phenomenon in the skies right now? Because I see pretty evidently some references. I mean, pictures that and videos that seem like military drones. Um, but I also saw some pictures of like strange like spheres or other kind of objects. Like I don't know how to describe it. It's a bit of a like a wire curled up in a ball of light. But it just reminded me of the Slalom phenomenon. So I was wondering if anyone else had this ambiguous felt ambiguous about the phenomenon from nature.
I'm gonna answer a little bit because what I've been seeing is that there are a lot of observation that looks like it's just normal lights from airplanes or drones. even stars, but I have seen many that looks like these orbs, and there are also many that are like groups, like 3 or 5 or 13 or 50. So that's kind of interesting. But I think now we have the case that people are actually looking up, and then they see more than they are used to. So I guess 80% is noise, 20% could be something, and then a few percentage is really interesting. But that's my point. Christian.
Yeah, so I also guess it's probably a mix of different things, but it's certainly more than hobby drones because there's many reports of them hovering for at least 5 to 6 hours and being as big as a car. So that just takes a lot of energy. I'm not saying that can't be done, but that doesn't sound like a hobby drone. Ryan Graves also said yesterday on Joe Rogan that they do maneuvers that are very energy costly, so they seem to have lots of energy. So I think it's at least military drones, some of them, and also yeah, come in like 50 from them from the water, and they haven't been able to track a single one of them to where they land or where they come from. That's rather unusual, or bring one down. So I guess that speaks against this only being hobby drones. There might be some, but it's certainly other, probably also some man-made vehicles that are just very high level of technology, I guess, from what I understand so far.
I actually found the suggestion that they were looking for something like missing radioactive material to be pretty plausible because it would explain a lot. But now they say that no, they found that and that has been returned, so that's not the case. But if that was the case, it would explain why they did not stop the operation. You would have to continue if there was something dangerous out there. But okay, so you have all kind of explanations, and if you're asking about where they're from, then you know that Donald Trump had the answer. It's from a garage. So that's what he said. I'm not sure. Can you how to say your name? Miguelaus? Miguel. You are writing? Yes. You are typing in the chat, but would you like to say it out loud a little bit? You don't have a camera. You don't need a camera. You need a microphone. Okay, not. So then you have to go and read the chat because there is interesting comments. Maybe I can try to find it a little bit. Let me see. Possible explanation if they are plasma balls. Yes, that's also an interesting one. This explanation is based on the possibility that these UFOs are highly charged plasma balls, similar to the ball lightning, but with much more charge and energy inside. And in a way, these round orbs that we see, I've seen many of those in these drone pictures, which is also very similar to the one I was showing you from Hessdalen, where the woman was following for half an hour. That also, when you look at it, you zoom into it, it is like a plasma ball. So very, very interesting. I think I put at the bottom here some statistics. So this is just from, I think I can show you here. You go to trends, Google Trends, and you can see the search terms. This is just United States. And if you look at the search term drones, there is a lot of interest in that. Then if you look at UFO and UAP, you can see the same as before. Nobody knows about UAP, but this search for drones has also kind of lifted the search for UFO. Is the way I'm reading this. And you can go down here and you can see what they are searching for. Drones, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. You see where it's particularly interesting, New Jersey, and so on. So, but I had this thought in my head. Is this good or bad for the interest of UAP? Would somebody comment on that? Because do you think this makes people search for UAP or UFO actually? So is that good, or is it going to be like we're going to be drowned in drone interest or fear or confusion? Yeah, it's bad.
I think another problem that you get with this is that you might get a lot of people that would otherwise be quite interested, but I'm sure we've all seen there's quite a few of these sort of drone videos that are really quite obviously videos of aeroplanes and stuff. And I think that sort of video is really discouraging if you're vaguely interested and you see that. I don't think you're likely to investigate much more because it just seems a bit. It almost seems a bit silly if that's especially if that's your first exposure to that sort of thing.
Definitely, yeah. Oh, why can't I
think
get you?
I think it is bad if there's a human aboard this craft. We humans are not very good against each other, in general. So I think that could be concerning, but we don't know.
Yeah. But this is sort of a global UFO flap.
Exactly.
It's
not in US only.
So you can speculate. You see, if you just look at the consequence, for example, how now the local police enforcement look at the government, the trust is going down. That's an observable. So the confidence in the government is going down. And it's much harder for a government now to play any cover-ups or, don't play it because of the internet and the information spreading. So I think one of the intention is actually reducing the confidence in the structure. That's just one speculation for me.
But why would the government or somebody try to reduce the confidence in the government?
Yeah, that's a good question. What do you want that sort of intention? But if you look at the reports from for example, from abductees, or they always warned us we must take care of the planet. So if this is the same force behind it, this is a wild speculation. But if you correlate that, you see that you know that this structure we have, the existing structure, is not seem to be able to take care of it. So that's logical. You see? You see my point?
I think the economy structure will go down if is that I think that they protect the economy structure because it can fail if someone releases some kind of free energy. Some of the UFOs we see, they just fly without anything. It's just my speculation. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Hello. I'd see this as a type of deliberate cognitive dissonance, where new evidence contradicts existing beliefs. Often a hallmark of a psychological operations designed to create specific mental and emotional, states in a population. So, so I think in this case, what we're dealing with currently, it's actually similar thinking to what Eric mentioned earlier, that it's producing a low level of anxiety and unease that something significant is happening beyond our understanding and control. So we're forced into this ambiguous, suspended logic space, if you like to call it. So if it's not ours and not our adversaries, as the Americans would say, then whose is it? How can we know? So it's actually creating a conspicuous gap in the narrative that begs to be filled, and of course, suggesting careful management of public perception rather than genuine uncertainty. So it funnels us in a state of anticipation, creating psychological pressure for revelation or resolution. And so with our logical frameworks disrupted, our minds become more, I'm speaking to the third person here now, okay? So our minds become more open to previously rejected possibilities, like the UAP. And I think it's creating a crack in our reality structure through which new ideas might enter. And as I think it was Andrew mentioned earlier, that there's a lot more people looking up now, but you're dealing with untrained observers. And even in what I've seen in some of the smartphone videos that have been taken, because of this conditioning, thinking that, oh, this could be alien and UAP and so forth. That's not necessarily so, because I've seen some of the video footages where you'd look at this ball of light, and because you're not used to looking up and filming balls of light like this at a distance, that ball of light then, some of them were saying, oh, it's morphing into a drone or an aircraft. Well, that's not true, because that's all down to the perception of the person looking at it. And if you're not used to this, well, then in other words, you don't have.
Oh, lost you. Oh, we lost the last part.
I think
we lost you.
I think you're absolutely right.
Stein Erik, until we get.
It's not just.
Oh, there you are. Okay, we lost you a little bit.
Hello.
Yeah, we lost you a little
okay.
bit. Yeah.
Must be my signal here. Yeah. Well, I hope you heard some of what I have to say there. Anyway. Yeah.
So can I ask you? You think who is doing this, or what's behind it is basically the phenomena, to put it this way?
Yeah, I think there's multiple objectives here happening, and I think that you're dealing with. Okay, you could say in one interpretation of it is that, okay, there's UAPs there, and you're dealing with a flap, which is which has been happening historically. So in order to mitigate that problem, there's set up all these drones, terrestrial man-made drones. So it's like a mix, you could say. But also then the other interpretation could be, well, the UAPs are turning up because there's also another agenda by some other parallel government, with these drones. So the UAPs are monitoring this, So what I'm saying is that there's a mix of objectives, I think, going on here.
Stein Erik?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, very interesting to hear the assessment from even Ansbro, which I regard one of the top world experts trying to speak out a little bit about what is going on, and who is skilled from his competence in astronomy and running his observatory to distinguish between various kinds of more or less advanced crafts from ordinary drones and to much more complex phenomena. Well, having looked much into this myself, perhaps looking at some 100 videos of so-called drones, mostly in the US and New Jersey area. But we must be aware that this is not restricted to the US. You have the phenomenon above military bases in the UK and in Germany, and also in other parts of the world. So this is something highly complex going on, and we have experienced similar things many times before in the recent history, but probably not to this extent, and also with that much mainstream media coverage, especially in the US. So my impression is that something very important is going on. From all the videos I've looked into, I think basically this more trivial ingredients of physical drones made of solid matter is not the main thing here. The most interesting, at least for me, is that you have this very many video recordings of plasmoids, often orbs, more circular, and with a very complex behavior that the conventional physical drones are not able to. And here you also have the possibility for trained observers like even Ansbro to recognize that well, some of these plasmoids that obviously are governed by some kind of high intelligence and high technology, that they can perform so-called mimicry, that they to some extent can appear as conventional drones, aircrafts, helicopters, and so on. So that is for me the most interesting, and also that, well, of course, the official explanations from Pentagon and so on, they do not make much sense. So there's something rather extraordinary going on. And also there have at least been a handful of reliable reports of trying to do anything with these plasmoids. And with anti-drone technology, F-12 in England and F-16 in one case and so on. And so far, it doesn't seem to have had any success at all. So basically, I'm most firstly interested in the advanced technology running these plasmoids. There are reports that they do not show up at the radar, which is not so surprising, but also one report that they do not find any heat signature, at least in one case. And that I don't really understand. So if Eamon could answer that, or anybody else, that would be interesting. And another question, the last one, is that for Eamon, for example, is it any possibility that what you call something parallel power structure while running this advanced plasmoids, that they are not alien, that can have some human connection? Thank you.
Well, yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah, because we have in some of the, I think there's one or two laboratories in the US that have created plasmoids, the plasma field itself. So they may have advanced a lot more since then. And I don't know if you actually read my paper. I have a paper that came out of February this year, which was co-authored by quite a few other authors, which deals with plasmoids in the thermosphere. So it's
Yes,
not just.
yes,
Oh, okay, you're familiar with that, right? But what I'd like to just continue on is that another interpretation of this is due to, I think, and again, it's my own opinion, is that we've had an acceleration of the whole disclosure side of things, with the last 2 or 3 years. And so, and I'm absolutely convinced that the UAP are monitoring this, the intelligence behind it. And so it's, it could be a situation that that has been a deliberate psychological perception problem instigated by social control agendas. Now, so if you have this current mass exposure is exciting, our curiosity and empowering us to share our experiences, problem solve, or listen to the wisdom of the community over the government's mouthpieces, so to speak, because they're obviously created a huge gap here. So that we are possibly processing all this without any panic, but in a positive way. I was just thinking of the War of the Worlds, 1938. Okay, that was a panic situation. But in this case, if the UAP are part of this, it's not to panic us. It's more, I would say, is more of a positive sign for people to explore this further. There was a different culture back in the late 1930s as compared to now, 2024, and particularly with the disclosure, the ongoing progression in disclosure that's been going on. So I think that the drone situation may be a test run for how something like mass sightings could unfold. It's a real world and a real time practice in processing uncertainty. You know what I mean? Knowing that the clock is ticking on disclosure, and perhaps the government is studying people's mental, emotional, and physical responses, and the media's handling of this topic and the preparedness of the public institution. And this is all through a lack of transparency, and as quite, I think as Andre mentioned earlier, it's exacerbating the whole trust deficit. And this could be part of an attempt to create a gradual recognition that something beyond conventional human technology is operating in our airspace. So this, as I would say, a progressive disclosure may reduce societal shock while building collective capacity for a paradigm shifting information, including the introduction of our own advanced technology, maybe. But that's just another interpretation. But it wouldn't be surprised me that that is actually happening in this whole arena. So.
Miles?
Yeah, just actually just to pick up quickly on something that Eamon just said, that I think it's quite interesting how people are reacting now compared to back with the War of the Worlds thing. I reckon there's probably a really interesting psychology or sociology study in that somewhere. But yeah, I think part of you sort of run the risk with these sorts of things of sort of jumping to the conclusion of, there's a government thing happening or there's a UAP thing happening, when I think it'd be good to just sort of take a minute and think about all, because I think there's a lot of other really reasonable explanations to quite a lot of the sightings. That's not to say that there's not anything interesting or different, unexpected going on, but I think there's all sorts of corporate interests that have got interest in drones nowadays that we might not know about yet, just because it's corporations don't like to talk about these things until they're public with them. What was it? The sort of government brief? Was it a briefing where they were sort of saying that they don't know what these drones or lights are, I guess. that's very interesting. But at the same time, is that more a case of sort of really slow, crappy bureaucracy? No one could get the information from anyone else, or is that a case of actually they do have the information and they don't know what it is? But yeah, it's definitely an interesting situation for sure.
I was trying to be nice now, so I raised my hand. So it's Christian first, and then me.
All right, so just like to respond quickly to Sobek's question with the radio frequencies. So, yeah, I mean, drones are controlled by radio waves, and that is one of the interesting things I've heard several times, that they were not able to pick up any radio waves around those drones. So, apart from not giving up heat signatures, I don't know if it applies to all of them, but apparently that has happened, not giving out heat signatures, which is kind of impossible if you have a motor running. They couldn't pick up any radio signal from what I've heard, so it's very unclear right now how those drones are controlled. If they're man-made, maybe they're pre-programmed or something. It's unclear, but that's what I've heard at least several times. I don't know how true it is, but that's what I've heard.
But you said radio waves, and I'm thinking is that's not the same as electromagnetic necessarily. Yeah, well,
No,
it is,
no,
but
no, it is not. It's just like as close that I could get to the question. It's like not the perfect response, but anyway,
yeah,
from what I heard, there was no radiation or anything like that.
okay,
But
yeah,
I don't know if it's true. That's just what I heard several times.
okay. So my comment is, well, okay. First of all, I don't necessarily just believe what the military says, but in a way, I could believe that they don't know, but what they have promised is interesting. They have promised that they are going to take it serious and they're going to look into it all. So I think that's very good. I mean, as I said, I think there's a lot of noise out there, but if there are some plasma spheres, some orbs around, and they take it serious and they get around all this noise and get to these real cases, and they tell us we're going to follow up on this, it's going to be interesting to follow the whole case. That's my feeling. I think we could continue discussing this forever, but are there any other questions or comments from anyone?
Yeah, I think just to add to what you just said, I think with this is there's just sort of one of many things that are in the news at the minute, and when you sort of look at the sort of state of the world, December 2024, there's a lot of tension, and I really do think that if let's say the US government or whoever didn't know what was going on there, they would absolutely want to look into it. And I think that if they did know what was going on there, I don't think that they would say that they don't know. I think they would come up with some excuse.
So that's why I feel it's strange if this is kind of a narrative run by the military. I don't see it. But Michael Fay, you have some unmute. Can you unmute yourself? You can't unmute. Okay, there you are. Yes? Can't hear you. Could you write the question? Or comment? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Perfect. Excuse me, please.
No
Good
problem.
evening, everybody, at first. I would like to make a comment to the political perspective.
Yes.
I think I wish as much as you that a kind of disclosure is coming, or as it just was described, a kind of soft disclosure that is somewhere planned in the background by a very smart government who has a good intention for all US American people. That's what the US American president and the government always mentions. Even this is a global issue. But frankly speaking, I'm not sure if this is really the case. When you see just the technology perspective from satellites, from surveillance technology, etc., the US military was even many years, more than 10 years ago, they were able to zoom down up to a football and identify if it's a model from Nike or Adidas. Yeah? They cannot tell you that they have no clue where these drones are coming from and going to. That's absolutely nonsense. Nonsense. So, and another point from political perspective, the current government is in place till the beginning of next year. If you have seen the press conference from John Kirby is not Sabrina, is not simply a press speaker. He is security communication director. So this is a real number. And if you are at least a little bit familiar with non-verbal communication, you see how he's turning around the question. He definitely knows more than, but they do not seem willed to express more, because from political perspective, it's a risk to do that. It is on one side something which you open to the public, something which is positive, but on the other side, it unveils that you have limited power compared to something which is unknown and has capabilities which exceed yours by far. And that's a real issue. Maybe there is a chance when Donald Trump comes, not that Donald Trump will be a good president, I definitely doubt that, but he was the one who was always opening his mouth. He cannot shut his mouth. He was always opening his mouth, even when risking conflicts or war. So this is why I think that such a person, such a disastrous person, could maybe on the other side be a chance for it. So what I want to say is, I do not believe in a really good will. There are players in the background. When you see the Rear Admiral, Gallaudet, for example. So there are people who have been in high position in military and in the politics who are really interested. But I think the majority, still the majority in military and in the politics in the US, is in the position of making not or negative towards a disclosure. And what I'm a bit concerned, another point regarding the public perception is the following. When this drone issue, when this drone appearances began, the people were really paying attention to that. People, my friends, or people I know who never talk about UFOs, they ask me, they said, have you read that? It's very interesting, what is that? But now when these people call me, nowadays, 2 days, 3 days later, they say, oh, it was nothing. You can read it, it's airplanes, and they see that, they see airplanes, and it was a drone maybe from such private people, whatever. Yeah. So this is difficult because we have to keep in mind the human perception is very easy. If something is gray and has large ears, it must be an elephant. But I say, if it speaks 20 languages and it can fly, it may be not an elephant. But the very most people only listen to the first two characteristics. So my message is, we should not trust too much on the goodwill of the politics. We should see that this is, and on the other hand, we should see that it's maybe a very long way, which we still have to go until the disclosure comes. And I think, the message to you, Fred, I think when I compare a lot of activities worldwide, what you are doing in Heslan is for me the greatest laboratory, open air laboratory in the world. And you could be a very important step towards disclosure. When you can prove data, scientific data, then this could open the door for further activities.
Before I let Andrea comment or talk, I think that the government, the military is, if I understand you correct too, trying to stop this. They want us to believe that it's just drones, it's just something normal, mistaken things, and so I actually feel that it could actually be the phenomena itself that is trying to push an unveiling more than, and then the government is trying to stop the disclosure. They don't want that. That's too dangerous. That's my feeling. Andrea?
Yeah, on this last point, I still feel that the most of what we are seeing in videos and pictures is not the actual phenomenon, but it's the response to the phenomenon, and it's a response that the government is not acknowledging publicly because they cannot somehow yet. There might be some instances of some pictures or videos of drones that exhibit, like that mimic the lightning of the FAA, and they could be genuine, let's say, non-governmental drones. But I think the most of them could be easily some black project drones or something else is going on. So I think they're after, or they're trying to distract people from the actual phenomenon that is underlying. But I wanted to ask you, has anybody known about other instances in other countries about this phenomenon? Because I know that in the Manchester airport something strange happened last March. There was a video that came out a few weeks ago about it from a pilot of a commercial flight. But do you know of any other place? Because this is very local to US.
If you go to Reality Check and listen to Ross Colhart, he says that his email has exploded and he gets thousands of emails from all over the world about this. That's his comment about it. I just noticed, I haven't checked it up, so I haven't kind of vetted the entry itself, but in our Discord community server, there is an example from Poland about kind of interesting drone situation. I don't know if anybody of you have seen that one, and I don't know if it's a valid one or not. But I've heard from many that this is not a U.S. phenomena. Michael? Oh, sorry. Sorry, Michael. You have to wait. Stein Erik, I have to follow the list.
Yes, if Eamon is still there, I have one other question. And that is, well, he opens the possibility for these advanced plasmoids, mostly orbs, morphing and do all of stuff that is not possible for physical drones. And not possible to shoot down or remove from evidence so far. And it opens the possibility that, well, there are some kind of human agency that might be able to put out that kind of plasmoids. Then my question is, well, who the heck can that be who possess such advanced technology? And yesterday there was a long podcast with some more avant-garde figures inside the U.S. government positions, more or less. Hal Puthoff as one scientist, others, and also one director of a new program for energy development and so on. And they were surprisingly open about how much they had learned from studying UAPs and meetings with them and so on. There's one hypothesis which I'm not sure about at all. That is, this is a kind of play show between some advanced human faction in possession of extremely advanced technology, more like theories about the secret space program and government military, and they are in kind of concert or perhaps not. But if Eamon or others have some reflections about that, I would be interested to hear.
Yeah, just following on what you mentioned there. Yeah, regarding the plasmoids, I think that's a separate category altogether. And secondly, that you may be right, and I wouldn't know the answer to this. I wouldn't have that information, and that is that there may have developed, somebody may have developed an advanced type of plasmoid type system with the intelligence that's already there, and executed some of these plasmoids within the whole, in the local atmosphere. But again, that's speculation. I wouldn't know the answer to that. But at this point in time, I'd see it as a different category to the UAP. Although the UAP does have the characteristics of the plasmoid in there, I think the UAP is sort of similar to a theory that came out by the Mexican physicist Alcubierre. So you have this Alcubierre advanced propulsion system, which is able to distort space-time, which the UAP intelligence or the non-human intelligence behind this may have a holographic platform that is, you could say, piggybacking within the Alcubierre type propulsion system and is able to morph what it wants to do. I mean, there has been historically records of morphing going on, where you'd have, say, an object would come out of the water that looks like a plasmoid, quite large, and then all of a sudden it morphs into an aircraft or a helicopter. And there's ample evidence for this, and analysis, particularly of black helicopters back in the last 40 years, where if you look at the rotation velocity of the blade of a helicopter, it's extremely slow as compared to conventional helicopters. It would have dropped out of the sky. So the UAPs are doing this, and similarly, it's quite possible that the UAPs are actually doing the same thing, actually, that's just currently happening now. So it's a real state of confusion, the whole thing, all these different agendas, different objectives going on. So,
Michael?
Yeah, to come back to your question, Fred, you asked, do we think that there is a bigger appearance worldwide, not only in the US? And you mentioned to have seen that video from Poland. I saw the same one. But we have to pay attention. I think you as a Norwegian know that, the same as we as German or Polish guys, we are very close to Russia. I know that Norway arrested some Russian people, let's say, playing a little bit around with drones in Norway. And in Germany, it is not only a question of drones appearing over military areas. Same time, there is a damage in the outer burdens around that military areas recognized. And this has nothing to do with a drone. So what I want to say, everything which is very close to Russia, we should pay attention to the fact that there is war and that Russia tries its best to operate surveillance on the other countries around. So there may be drones in other countries, but we need always to be very careful that these are not totally different stories that are going around. And furthermore, I share also the opinion of Andrea and you, Fred, the very most of these drones, the very most, maybe really sightings which are just misleading, which is a plane or whatever. But the current situation which appears contains, I also thought that, orbs and appearances which are pointing to plasma appearances. And what I'm missing also in the media is a kind of reflection of that point. It is always only talked about technical drones or about objects in the sky which look like a drone. And this is something where the reporting in the media should change. We should not only concentrate on what we identify, it should be more concentrated on that what can't be identified.
I'm just crossing my fingers that when they have said that they are going to follow up on all this, that that we follow up on them to say, have you gone through it? Have you looked at all the different cases? Because yes, there's a lot of noise, but there are some interesting cases. And yeah, I agree. We should be even like the stories we heard from China. We don't know if it's a totally just different case. I just yeah, like you all, I guess I've seen too many videos now, and one was commenting that there is still a number of UAP or UFO reports. So this is just coming on top of it all, and even among these UFO reports, let's say that 1 or 2 of 10 are of interest, but now I think it's confusing in a way that now that we can talk about drones, and we are just confused. Eirik, help me.
I don't think my statement will help you. Because we say that we need to identify. But identify is meaning that we find something we know from before.
Yeah.
So if we have something advanced technology, very advanced, we will not be able to identify in the same way we identify something we know. So we have to think about that. Yeah.
Ooh. I will, until somebody stops me, just give a little bit of comment about the good old stories from 1896, because there was this lots of observations about airships or whatever it was, and then it all faded away. Eamon, you know this case, or you want to comment?
Yes, yes, Fred. Yes, during the late 1890s, yeah, there was a significant amount of manifestations of the airships. And what was interesting that in 2 cases, the occupants, which were human, had interacted with the locals at the time. And I actually looked into this a bit further there some time back, and it's a very good chance actually this was nothing to do with UFOs, but you could say similar situation as we have now with the secret space program, that there was a group from Germany back in the 1850s called NIMZA, N-I-M-Z-A, sorry, N-I-M-Z-A, NIMZA, in which they were developing new type of air, how should you put it? I didn't want to say aircraft, but they had sent one of the scientists to California, and they did set up this this aero club. This is back now in the 1860s, and I can't remember the name of it now, but there is some good evidence to show that this was going on, and that the airships was a result of this, that it wasn't a UFO situation. Although, of course, historically, in many books, they talk about, the airships as, how should you put it, one of these psychological things to climatize people at the time, 10 years ahead of its time, and then, we end up then in the late 30s with rockets and so forth. I think that's probably a terrestrial man-made situation.
What I'm going to do now, once again, if people raise their hand, you're going to be able to talk, but I will try to move a little bit further down on my list of things to talk about. But before I do that, I would like to say that I really hope that you will all join the next status meeting 1 month from now, because it could be really interesting to see what is the situation then. Um, so let's see. Let's see. Nobody's raising their hands, so I'm moving a little bit because now I wanted to comment a little bit on the work we do, and um, could we have Rainer here? So he will comment a little bit more on these pictures that are taken. These are from the stream stacked images, and we had Aiden Carty, and I made a folder because it's kind of interesting to see how she is sending us some pictures that she took from the camera, and I'm like, what am I looking at? The problem is, how do we detect something? And then I found out I can actually mark here like this, and I can ask, what's this? So this is what I did here. As if you see here now, there's a little bit of a cloud, who knows? And on this one too, there's a little bit and a little bit. And the reason I'm doing this is because if I look at yeah, I actually I have one more to show here. I took this is the stacked image. She took screenshot, and this is the stacked image. And my hope was that we could use these images to kind of like have a glimpse of 15 minutes and see, is there anything of interest? So of course, if I'm looking at this, everything is like I see the stars moving as they should. Something here is not following this same pattern, so that's of interest. But the one that was commented now it's very hard to see. I don't even know if I can zoom into this one. Can I? No, I don't know. Oh. Yeah, okay. So this is the only thing I can see here. And it's, once again, let's go back to this one. As you see here, it's only a little bit of a cloud or whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the person I was expecting to raise his hand. So my point with this is only that we have the stacked images. We still have people looking at the camera and trying to figure out what it is. Would you like to comment, Rainer?
Yeah, just a very small comment. So the original video file is also on the team drive. I uploaded it, and then you scroll through the video file. You see during some minutes the northern lights, and in front of the northern lights is this dark thing. I mean, I guess it is a cloud. It looks very much like a cloud to me, but you can't be 100% sure. So it does not seem to move very much. Maybe the shape shifts a little bit when you look to the original video and scroll, or just let it run in the natural speed, or scroll a little bit forward and backwards. But yeah, I think only from the video it is impossible to tell if it is something strange.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is the only thing we see. But it kind of illustrates for me the difficulty of identifying things in these pictures. So on the project side, we have projects and this stream stacker, as you like to call it. So, so this is actually going straight into the shared drive, and you have. Did you upload it to this folder or somewhere else?
To the folder from the date which it is taken from.
Okay, and I can't remember what that was.
I think it was when you open the picture again, in the top right corner, it says, let me see.
Let me see.
9th of December.
Yeah, okay.
So if you go to the folder,
oops,
December
here
9th.
it is. Here it is. 9th of December.
Yep.
This one.
Yes.
Okay, so here you have this movie. Okay. So basically, we're looking at something in what area? This area?
Yeah, exactly. I think you have to scroll to the 2/3 mark almost. It's quite late in the video, but then you can see it quite clearly.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, so let's go here.
Yeah, that's real time, by the way, so they're moving quite fast, and then at some
Yeah.
point you can see it.
Yeah. And here it is. Yes.
Hmm. Also, I have no idea if any detection algorithm would spot this.
No.
If you have anything detecting lights or so, but
Yeah.
detecting
Yeah.
something like this, I don't know. By the way, the bright dot on the left is the moon.
Yeah. Oh, do it again. It's here somewhere. Where is it? Yeah. I lost it. But it does illustrate the, first of all, that the human eye is very good in spotting things
Yeah.
and seeing things. So I'm so happy that we have people that look at this. And as I say here, we can't conclude with anything, but it's very interesting. And as you see, I think it's interesting that you, oh, not this one, go back to here, that you can actually go into this stack here and you can look at any of these pictures. And if you are wondering, is this something, you can just drag. And if you can't drag, then make sure you ask me, because you should be able to add a comment like this. Maybe it's possible to use this metadata and send it to a system to do some training. It's like, I think we have the, I've been using this 12 here, this one, and stack here. And if it's sorted the right way, no, it's not. Go the other way, like this one. Then you see how these look. This is an airplane. Once again, I'm just looking at this to something that is not following the pattern, and here's a little bit, maybe an airplane.
The small dashed ones are meteorites, the short
Okay.
traces. Because I only stack every second frame. We run with 25 frames per second.
Yeah.
So if something is moving really fast, and I only stack every second frame, you see a dashed line.
Yeah.
If it's that's a nice meteorite, for example. But
Yeah.
this one was going a little bit slower, I think, and that's why it looks like a solid line, not a
Yeah.
dashed one. The one on the right, where cursor is, this was a very fast one. There you can see the dashed line.
Okay, so I can basically say meteor, if I wrote it correct. Meteor, oh, almost. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So, and then for this one, it's like we'd like to see this, so then we can take the video and actually get to see it. I think it's here somewhere. You will get it.
It's only 19 seconds. You can let it run and
Yeah, there you
uncrop the
see it.
video.
There you
Yeah,
see it.
there it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's here somewhere. Right here.
There it is.
Yeah. So all of these now goes out every night, right?
Yeah, the stacked images are calculated after every night and automatically uploaded to the Team Drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, oops. Okay. So let me see. Yeah.
Raised hand from Johnny.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah, hi. I'm just. It's a good tool to see. Yeah, any strange movement. And then, yeah, I don't know if you have. I uploaded some videos to you. Some also strange. I have recorded some flying information. So it's very strange. It's not. It's in Sweden, Denmark. It's not here, but it's very strange.
Oh, let me see.
I think I uploaded 3 videos.
Yeah.
I had taken on. I have this camera. I don't think if you know this camera, the Aurora.
Yeah. Let me see. Johnny?
Yeah. It's quite an expensive camera, but good to observe. Aurora Pro.
3 of them, and I
Yeah.
think
This is the one when I used to sit in front of my window and meditate in sometimes, and suddenly I felt something coming. I took my camera and began filming. I saw it come in. Can you see it there?
Yeah.
And it signaled back to me. I sort of can you say something? Suddenly there comes some very strange. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. But it was very interesting. Can you see that?
Yeah.
We are here, ready to talk.
And you
Yeah.
had another one with 3 of them. There's the one that's moving
Yeah,
fast.
they are moving very fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could see them.
I could see it on my screen. At least it's something here, I think.
Yeah, 3 very fast. Just over my head there.
Yeah.
Can you see them?
Yeah. And then the last one, I think this is the one with the tree.
I only managed to turn my camera on. That's one
Here,
of the tree one. Can you
Yeah.
see them there?
Yes.
They're not flying so fast there, but I had very much activity around my house. I don't know why, but it's very interesting. It's in Svebølle, Denmark, and I'm looking through north, against the direction north, northwest. Yeah.
Can you type the exact name of the camera into the chat? I just want to say it first and have a look.
I can read it out here. It
is it this one?
Psionics. Yeah, exactly. Picture of it. As you scroll down, you can see where I sit on
you sit here
in my window.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit crazy, but
Mediterer mot universet.
Yes.
Yeah. So I try to put.
I think there's something that's bigger in us. This is just my view. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Michael.
Yeah, I have a question to you, Fred.
Yes.
And to Erling, because I would like to use the opportunity of that meeting.
Yes.
I was taking about a week. I was taking time to surf over your old Hestan page, especially the videos. And I quite really watched a lot of them. And I found out for myself the easiest way to recognize what is changing is not watching the video, is loading the video, then pull with the mouse the lever and choose your own speed to turn the lever left, right, and go through. And there were 2 things which I recognized in a lot of videos. The first thing is the emitted energy, or let's say the emitted light of these appearances, is starting from 0, is rapidly increasing up to a peak, and is rapidly decreasing. That's the first point in a lot of them. I'm not talking about the static objects, I'm talking about the dynamic objects. The second point, what I recognized is, how to describe that? I have watched over the internet a few projections of a higher dimensional object entering a lower dimensional space. And there are different mathematical models, and you can watch it on YouTube. I'm not sure if I described it the right way. So when you have a 3-dimensional object and you let it cross a 2-dimensional space, then it will at first appear as a point. It will be an increasing circle up to the diameter, and then a decreasing circle up to a point again. And what I saw in a lot of these videos, this looks very similar like this model. I'm just posting one of the old Hestan in the chat. There's one video. When you load that video, and when it's completely loaded, you take the mouse and pull the lever, and then this does not look like 2 objects. This looks like one object which is kind of tapping into our space. So my question to you and Erling is, I'm sure you will have already recognized that and analyzed that much more in detail than I could do. And I would like to ask you, what are your leading theories how this can be explained?
Well, I think that goes to you, Erling, because you are the one that has been looking at these videos.
Very difficult to find an explanation on what it could be. My focus on picking up these videos was to see if there is something which is not easily explainable. So that was my focus. I don't have any good explanation on what they could be. No. But hopefully, the reason why I picked them out was those who are not very easily to explain is that someone like you can look at it and find out something that's perfect.
Yeah,
But
I think that
when you watch, you will really see the similarities when with this higher dimensional projection into a lower dimensional environment or space. It really looks like that. This does not mean that it needs to be that, but it was only obvious that a lot of your videos, really many, show that characteristic.
That's
interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, Stein Erik.
Yes, just a more ontological comment with respect to traffic between 3D and 4D, and perhaps above. I will recommend a professor in mathematics in Argentina, Diego Rapoport, which has done amazing works with many results inside the Klein bottle science. Klein bottle is a paradoxical topological object if you upgrade a Möbius strip, which is paradoxical to a Klein bottle and adding 4D. And his works perhaps mostly is in mathematical physics, but also stretching to genetics and quite a polymath. So that is something to look into, but which is rather complex.
For me, what is good is that we have all these videos, and Erling has everything stored. So if it's possible, then we would really like to have others to look at it, and also if we can have some computer systems to analyze it once we know how to do that properly. Because I think there's a lot of things that we could pick out, but of course they have lower quality, but still there are some interesting patterns. Do we have another hand? No. Could you comment a little bit more? I'm going to jump over this Discord activities. Just encourage people to go to Discord and see and comment and ask. But we have seen a little bit now about these stacked images that I love, and that we actually are able to go and have a look every day. Do you want to comment a little bit more on these, on the status or like the problem or anything?
So, well, the status is unchanged for everybody new. We have two 4K cameras on top of the BlueBox. They are running 24/7. I create these so-called stacked images, so it's like an artificial long-time exposure. I changed it to 20 minutes video chunks, and in the nighttime I stack for brightness, so you see the star trails and stuff like this. It's also live streamed to YouTube. And until we have some very good detection mechanism or something else, it's a nice way to see if something strange happens. So if there would be a light flying in a zigzag over the sky. You would see it in the stacked image, or also during the daytime. You see lots of birds, because I also stack for the darkest pixels, so birds I see a lot. But also if there would be flying a craft, a dark craft in the daytime, you also would see it in the stacked images. And they're uploaded every night or to the team drive, as I said, for the whole world free. So everybody with the link, you don't have to be a member, can look at them. And we also have the original video files, but it's quite a lot. So every day, 24 hours, the two cameras altogether produce 90, so 90 gigabytes of data. So they are saved locally on the BlueBox, and I also save a copy at home. And whenever somebody says in Discord or wherever, oh, maybe there was something interesting some days ago, I also have a look, and normally I still have the video file, and I upload it also to the team drive for the people to investigate on their own if they want to. So that's the status right now. So two cameras are running, and up to now they're running quite well.
So the problem is the birds and the bees and the insects and the rain. And I guess what you see now is the result of some droplets on the lens or something like that.
The lens is wet on the right, for example. Exactly.
Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, here it comes again. It kind of looks cool, but it's easy to be fooled. Definitely. So what we would like to do, first of all, we had an application with NTNU and University in Portugal, and it was rejected. So no money from there. They had 432 applications, and they said, not this time. Try again next year. So of course we'll try again next year. But we've had some interesting discussions, and it was kind of good to think about, like, how do we want to do a proper research project. But and we had actually 10 people that had signed up on that one, but not this time. And then we have NHIR. This is the organization where Ross Coulthart is in Australia. So now we have some comments from Rainer, and maybe you would like to give a little bit of, because we have had a presentation and kind of presented us to NHIR, and one of the persons there was the CTO, the technical director, and he called me back, so we've had another discussion, and he actually has some camera systems that he would like to deploy in the valley. That's interesting. But I would like to write a good application. I would like to have help from Iman. I would like to have help from our new friends in Ukraine and so on. See if we can get some good cooperation between other organizations. What equipment do we need? And we were also talking about, maybe it's not just the cameras. Maybe we could put out, I think I actually made some kind of a picture here just to illustrate it. And I just put on the grid here because, Raina, you had these data loggers. How many?
30 were out in the field.
30 were out in the field. And that was just like for a week, I think?
For a week, exactly.
Yeah. So what if it's possible to find a box, a sensor, put it on a solar panel and make it run for months and hopefully for the year? What kind of equipment do we need? Is it then possible to kind of detect that something is happening? Or what if you could have some a monitor and dashboard and you could see, whoa, something is happening now, and you get an alarm? And then maybe you could use that to find out, these are the places we'd like to put out camera systems. But this is just thoughts for now that we need to make into a nice long list of what we should do. Can you comment a little bit on your
Yeah, these are just my thoughts about the NHIR application, like you said, where we might get some money for hardware and for stuff. So my suggestion is, yeah, to make like an internal project out of it, but with a project plan, so that we know, okay, we start, we invite the people we are interested in joining to brainstorm what do we actually want to build, because we have to present something to them. We cannot just ask for money. We have to show, okay, we will use your money for this and that. In my opinion, we should be able to provide a prototype depending on what we're applying for. So I built these magnetic loggers, for example. There are already thoughts about a second generation with magnetic field and whatever, maybe even with solar. But yeah, I think a prototype would convince them even more. If you have already something running in your hand, you see, okay, we can build one for 50 to 100 euros. Now we need 20,000 euros to scale it up, for example. So this would be a very good idea from my point of view. Like I also wrote in this list, I'm a computer scientist, so I can do lots of programming, but I'm not so good in electronics. So it would be a good idea to find some electronics guy, for example, with the solar panels, because I'm not so well to put a solar panel on it, recharging a rechargeable battery and also running the thing. So I could use some help with this. And also maybe ask the experts, because so there are lots of kinds of magnetic sensors, and some you have, even all of them, you have to calibrate. It's a very long story, so I would really like to speak to somebody who already used our kind of magnetic sensors, which we'll use in the future, just to get to know all the errors he did, so that we don't do them again. So yeah, like I said, there's a lot of brainstorming. What do we want to have? Or maybe it's just the cameras, no magnetic sensors, but then still we have to decide, okay, which cameras and where can we put them? If we want to put them somewhere off the grid, electricity becomes a problem. Also with the off-grid sensors with solar, if they are in a public place or in the nature reserve, we have to ask the community if we are allowed to put them there, all this kind of stuff. And yeah, just to move this project forward, I would make it into a real project, let's say. So maybe in January, we set a date and say, okay, let's meet everybody who wants to be part or has good ideas, we invite. To firstly decide, okay, what do we want to apply for? What do we want to build? What do we want to measure? And then slowly work out a project plan, maybe build a prototype, but also who could help building a prototype. And also to check for every people in the project or here in the group, how much time are they able and willing to spend? Because we're all doing it in our free time, that's absolutely clear. Family is more important, but it just would be nice to know. So if there's some guy only or willing to help one Sunday a month, like I wrote, absolutely fine, but then we can count on 1 day a month, for example. If there are other people who say, yeah, several hours a week are no problem, this would be also interesting, so that we know what we can build on. And also that we have like a goal in, I don't know, June or so, that we have the NHIR application ready. Because if it takes forever, then maybe they lose interest and nothing will move forward. So in principle, this is what I wrote down here, and these are my suggestions for this. And maybe one last comment, maybe, because lots of people have already ideas, also myself, of course. And what I've seen, there was a link in the Discord to the project Galileo and some papers which they already published. And they have been doing a lot. They have lots of manpower and money. Avi Loeb is doing a lot of stuff in Harvard. And they have prototypes, or maybe now even more than a prototype, of different systems, like cameras in the infrared range covering the whole sky, or a tower with microphones with different wavelengths for the microphones. So they already have a lot. And we should at least read these papers and keep in mind, okay, they have this already. So if we come up with own ideas, have a look at them. Because I guess also at least part of our application should be new. Because if we just copy somebody else, NHIR might ask, okay, the others did it already, why should we fund you? So there should be something new to all of this. And,
Well, one thing that we do have is that the valley is there. If we put it out in a grid in the valley, that is, and we do know that what is in the ground is of interest, because there's a lot of metals and there are like these lines that we could follow and so on. So even if we just find some equipment that is there, just to deploy it in this special way would be of interest. But that's what I wanted you to comment, because if there are some, I'm just using this dwarf lab tree smart system because I just realized that there is a UFO tracking mode on this system, so you can just buy it, put it there, and it's not waterproof. So we have to find out what to do about that. But any kind of equipment that we can just get and install would be of interest after all. So yes, please, if people are interested in joining this, do so.
I guess we put an email out in January or so, 2 weeks in advance for a brainstorming session first, and then we will see who will come.
Yeah. We have the general page of projects. So on this one, we have a lot of projects that we are trying to kind of describe. We have to go through it a little bit more. We have activities that we need to do, like media outreach and get money, get funding, get collaboration. So thank you, Iman. I'd like to work with you more, and also the Ukrainian people that we met. They have a lot of that knowledge that we are looking for when it comes to that kind of equipment that we're talking about now. So I think if we reach out but are a little bit specific about what we are looking for, so so we should try to make the project and then put it on the list, and then go out and say, please, I want to be kind of open about what we are working on even before we have completed the application, because we are in the process. I would like to show you the process and say that we are trying to get there. We feel that we are so far. We still need another month. We are looking for help on this and that. I think that's the best, for me, that's the best way to do it, because we need help. If I don't tell you what we need help in, how am I going to get it? So I want to be kind of public about it. Any comments or questions? So myself now, I've just realized that I have some dreams about the website and use that more actively. So I've decided that I'm going to move it to, because as you see now, my front page is a front page, and it takes a little bit of time to update that, and you can do whatever you want with this and so on, and it's too slow to update. So I'm just gonna kind of give up and say, I know what I want to do. I can do that on the side, but for now, I think that the content trumps the design. So if I can make it easy to edit, invite others to edit, and make it so that you can search the entire site, then that's why I'm moving everything into one Google site now, and that's the site that you are looking at here now. I'm just trying to consolidate it a little bit. It's not nice, but it works better. Okay, so that's just a comment on that. And then we have Christian and his elevator pitch project, or a summary project, and we are going to be on night shift in January. Looking forward to that. And we just got this message from Helmi in Finland, a female YouTuber. So we're going to have a talk on Friday. I'm just going to find out what to do, what she wants. But it's good to have someone to help to get out, to get the message out. So as you see, I have this project's roadmap, and we need to discuss it more internally, but it's just for me to kind of signal out what we are working on. Yes. And this is basically just a little reminder at the end here that after this annual meeting that we had during the conference, then we have the membership fee that I have to remind everybody about. And as I said in the very, very beginning, we are too few paying members. I think I only have 34 paying members, so it doesn't even pay for the internet bills. So, and it doesn't even pay for the computer stuff that Rainer is getting. So we're paying from our own money because we want to do this. But it would be nice to know that we have a little bit of so all of you, please invite people to become members, paying members. But we have a lot of. You said something now. Can you say it instead of? Rainer, did you write something?
Just a response to Solveig in the chat, no problem.
Oh, okay, yes. So, and we even have a question from one guy that wants to write a book. So there is a lot of activity going on. And once we get, but that's what we need. We need volunteers that have some time to spend, and we need more paying members because now we can't even pay the bills. So it's like, please help us to get more members. Yes. We have, that's basically all for me, but I see that we have a few people that popped up in the middle of this meeting. Carl Johan Lund, hi, who are you? If you unmute yourself, you could say hi. Okay, let's see. Can I hear you? No, I can't hear you yet. Something with the sound.
Now then, sound.
Yeah, that's it. Hi.
Okay. Hej. Jag går på möte på Bäckepauses.
Oh, English if you can.
Yeah, I can do that. I said there was a last meeting at the Bäckepauses. Last end of last month.
Yes.
Yep.
So
No.
you popped in to see what's going on. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suddenly remembered, but I didn't know what it was.
Just the link. That's it. Just
no time given, no date, no time. So.
Oh, okay. I also see some other names. Melanie, do you want to say hi? Hi. At least I see a hand. You're muted, but that was a hi. Annbjørg. That's interesting. Annbjørg is the one that saw this light that was there for like half an hour. The one that you saw, that I showed you. So that's interesting. And Ron, you want to say hi? You want to say?
Yes. I just want to grab the opportunity because I have still a lot of questions. And I just asked this question now in the group here because my video is still on the site. Mm-hmm. And what I just want to ask if anybody interesting to watch my video, and maybe you can give me some feedback. It's on the Fred is all showing it now. It's a time lapse I take on the 7th of September on the fieldwork trip in Hesthallen. And you can see on this video what I call a plasma orb. It's going quite fast because of the time lapse. In the picture, I also have made pictures from the object. This is one picture, but I'll make a lot of pictures, and then you can see different colors. You can see different plasma orbs in the whole orb. The colors are between red, blue, yellow, orange. I still have a lot of questions about. I think it's quite extraordinary. Yeah, so if anybody have some feedback.
The feedback was that could this be cotton grass? Would you comment on that?
Well, I just, for me, this sounds a little bit, this object is the total video, it's in real time is 26 minutes. The time-lapse video, the time-lapse video is 35 seconds. The object, the orb, is coming in the frame in the picture, and it's flying. It's making this kind of movements for in real time 12 minutes. For me, it's not possible. If it's flying herb or insects, nothing is standing there and going around in a kind of patron form in 12 minutes. So for me, this is not explainable. I have made some a lot of footage on daytime in Hesdalen, but never this kind of footage. So I just want to create the opportunity to people to watch it, and if there is similar videos made before, maybe you can give me some feedback or anything.
I know. You want to comment?
Yeah, just a question. Do you also have a second camera by any chance pointing into the same direction? Do you have a second picture of it, even if it's not the whole thing, but maybe just one frame or so? Does it appear also on a second camera?
I didn't. I had because this is my iPhone, and I always make a time lapse on the iPhone, and I had a daytime vocabulaire, kikkers. But this is the direction. Then the other direction, I took at the same time. I taken another footage, but it's taking on the more on the right side.
Okay.
This is one thing what's happening on the film. This is the whole part of the real film. I mean, I just make a clip on it. But Fred had also seen another footage at the same time. There's happening something downstairs. On the other side, not on this movie, but it's on the original, where an orb coming in and make very strange movements at the same time. So, yeah, I think it's...
It was so strange you didn't have the guts to put it out. Yeah.
But if people are interesting, I can also put the whole film and you can see what's happening on the other.
I could make a folder like I've done for the others here, and just if you would like to put it somewhere.
Yeah, it's nice if people can watch the screenshots also from the slow motion. I have also sent you the slow motion. But in the whole package, it's in the folder you send to the email to the people who were in the field trip. But that isn't public.
Yeah, that's true. It's there. Yes. I think it's public enough. Let me see. It's here, and it's the field trip weekend, and it's actually here. Run. Yes. So here you put in these. Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Maybe just
if you can put maybe Fred, you can put it on slow motion. 10% plasma orb is the third one. Because then you can see it a little bit more to real time. But I cannot imagine. I'm not technical enough to make it going to real time. But I have made this one. It's going, but it's going a little bit there. You can see it a little bit more to real time. So, but it's just 10%. So in real time, it's going and more slowly here. And it's the lake Eujungen. It's on the in the.
I know.
So if anyone can give a little bit comment, should be nice for me to get some feedback.
Just one idea which came into my mind because of the second camera. Sometimes there is something on the BlueBox cameras. I see something on one camera, but not on the other. And they have a small area which they overlap. And I guess, or it can be that it is a reflection from outside the camera field of view. So that's a known phenomenon. So if you have a bright light or something else from outside the camera view, you can still have the reflection of it in your video. So I don't know, of course, what's in your video. Could be something from outside. And the second thing which came into my mind, sometimes we have like spider webs in front of the cameras, and they can give really strange reflections or even round reflections. It's just a string, but in the reflection it looks like something round. This is just something which came into my mind. I have no idea if it is a spider web in your movie, but maybe you can keep it in the back of your head.
No, that was totally clean. It was
Okay.
I put my camera on a rock, and the rock it's quite. You can see it if you zoom in. It's just a little bit of mousse on the rock, and the rock is going quite. And I put the camera on the edge of the rock, and then it's going down 3 meters down. You know, so it's totally clear.
Unobstructed view.
Front.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my thought now is that next time we have a field trip, and I'm blaming Rainer because he said we should have a week.
Yes.
So we're gonna skip the conference next year, but we are hoping to have a field trip week where we have hopefully some of the prototypes from the NHIR application. Maybe we could test some of them out. But if we have a field trip week, we should also make sure that we have what you say now, like 2 cameras and so on. We should be better prepared when we put out equipment. Definitely, yeah. Christian.
Yeah, just I wanted to say this before, but I wasn't sure if I understood correctly what you said. So from what I understand, you would like to keep NHIR in the loop of what we're doing, right?
Yes.
I think that's a good idea because showing them that we're making progress or that we're working on something is better than to keep them in the dark.
Yeah.
So yeah, that they keep their interest in us. I think that's important to just have them aware all the time that we're working on it and that we're making progress. So
Yes,
I think
yes.
that's a good thing to have.
Yes. Do we have any other questions or comments from anyone? Because Melanie.
Hold on. Hi,
Yeah,
I finally
hi.
got my technology working so I can speak. Hi, I'm Melanie. I live in Maryland. I originally been mostly working with like Skinwalker Ranch and things like that, studying the phenomenon of the groups. And I learned about you guys through Chris Lato, and then I guess Carl Crusher is there, and just highly interested in that. But I wanted to know about like sounds or like spectrum analyzer type things. Do you guys like? I love looking at the cameras you have. Do you have any things like that available? Have you been looking? Have you seen any signals or sound things like that?
Rainer.
But I mean, I can talk about this another time. I just mostly wanted to say hi because I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
Love that. Yeah.
Hi.
Just a small or a quick answer. So we have the cameras as a byproduct, which I totally forgot. The camera also have a very crappy microphone. So and I'm doing sometimes the audio spectra from these recordings, and you can see, for example, planes passing by. So when you can hear it by the ear, you clearly see the Doppler effect of the planes. In some of the folders, I even uploaded the audio spectrograms. And you can also see if the sheep is eating grass at the BlueBox, the sheep has the bells, and you can see this very clearly.
Okay.
But so far, I mean, there are also reports of strange sounds in Hessdalen, but at least so far, in the spectrograms where I had a look at, there weren't any. These spectrograms for audio we have too, but other than this, we don't have any recording equipment for any other kind of electromagnetic signals or so.
Okay, no,
Maybe I should give a comment on from the beginning. We have some people who claim they have a feeling of humming sound on some spots. This hasn't been recorded, but they heard it. And some people, not everyone, humming sound. The second thing is that there is probably infrasound which has occurred on some occasions. On one occasion, there was so strong that there was a vibration in the house, but there was no earthquake. We investigated that, and so there has been some few sound. But totally, we can say it's without any sound. But if you pick up some few samples where they tell about sounds, there is some few which give descriptions of some kind of sound.
For me, it's like when we want to put out sensors in the grid, because that's really one of the goals that I have. And what is the distance between the sensors? I don't know yet, but I maybe sound recording is a easy and cheap instrument. So we would definitely we have been looking at the list of instruments from Jim Sigala on his MUPAS equipment, and I think he has at least 9 of these sensors. So, but that's kind of the goal. As like, can we either find the equipment that we can just buy and plug in and start using, or do we need to make something ourselves? That's the evaluation we're going through now. So
I think that Jim Segala's MUPA sounds like a great idea, a great addition. Provided, I guess, they had some technical difficulties, but I guess that would be really good because trying to get it to I guess, because you could use that, then look at the cameras as like an alert system and things like that. Anyway, it's intriguing. Love this program. Thank you.
So if you want to meet Jim Segala, he's coming to Hessdalen in February.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, he said so. At least Carl Crusher is coming back, and another guy is coming, and Jim Segala said, yeah, so we have planned. That's the, I think, 18th of February. There's also like in the nearby city called Røros, which is so beautiful. So we're going to make sure that he has this amazing experience with Norway in the middle of the winter. So you're welcome.
Thank you. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Miles.
Hello. Yeah, I actually had 2 things that I wanted to mention very briefly. The first thing I wanted to say is I emailed you last week about maybe coming and doing some fieldwork with a colleague of mine up in Hassan. So I just wanted to mention that briefly. For context, for anyone that hasn't met me yet, which is I think most of you actually, I'm a marine biologist. I'm a research scientist. I study microplastics, so it's kind of completely different. But I'm involved in research, and a colleague of mine who works in, I think the right word is geochemistry. She does a lot of stuff with rocks. I'm not all that familiar with it. It's not my field, so I can't give it the right name exactly. But we're both very interested in coming and doing some investigating up in Hessdalen next year. I don't want to go into too much detail about what we're planning because we don't know for sure yet. We're still planning. But I'm sure that there are lots of people with suggestions or questions or anything like that. So I just wanted to mention that and put my email in the chat. So if anyone wants to chat to me privately about that, then you can go ahead and do that. The other thing I wanted to mention also briefly, we were talking earlier about a sighting recently, and I can't. I'm probably going to pronounce your name wrong. I'm really sorry. I think it's Ambjörg. I think you're here actually, which is interesting. I actually wanted to ask you some questions about that if you'd be willing to have a chat. We've been here for 2 hours now, so I don't want to drag this on too long. But if you're interested, then my email's in the chat, and I'd love to have a chat with you and get a bit more information from you if you'd like to.
Yes, I'm here. Hello, everybody. Yeah, you could find my email next to the pictures, I think.
Awesome.
You can send me an email there if you like to.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'll do that. Thank you.
It's here, as you see. This says
I see. Yeah.
on this one. So it's the email. Yeah.
Cool.
And I just took the text and just translated it, so it's in English.
But yeah, I thought it was worth asking because I realized a little bit ago that you joined. I was wondering if I could ask Fred if I could talk to you. But actually,
yeah, but this is 2016.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was December 16th. And I was like, oh, December. That's now. But
no. It's some years back.
But yeah, actually, I'm still like to. Yeah, I'll send you an email and we can figure it out.
Okay, very good. Yes, yeah, we've been using more than 2 hours. That's amazing, but it went so fast. So thank you. I'm gonna stop recording right now.